Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Anthony Galati.
And
Stephen Badagliaco.
As always.
As always.
So, we got a little witch hunt going on today, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Witch hunt.
We're going to find them, we're going to smoke them out of their caves, and we're going to cleanse our sweet Salem of these filthy heathen witches.
Damn right. Damn right. The Inquisitor Brian.
So what movie? what is the title of this movie?
We are watching The Crucible.
1996.
AKA Never Stick Your Dick in Crazy.
Yeah. That Abigail Williams, she's a problem, ain't she?
Oh, Lord. We'll get into it. This is
the height of Winona's powers, right?
I don't know about that.
As an actress?
I meant as a hotness.
She is still
she's
so hot.
She's stunning in everything.
She's good.
So I was going to bring this up later, but we're talking about it now. She's one of the first people to make my pee-pee move.
Really? Was it Beetlejuice?
No, I was watching The Crucible last week. No. As a kid watching Beetlejuice, I was very aroused by a young Lydia Dietz. Mm-hmm. And also Catherine O'Hara. Or is it O'Hare? O'Hara.
In Beetlejuice.
In Beetlejuice.
Really? The mom?
The mom. The scene when she... the Deo scene, when you see her armpit, it really aroused.
Armpit.
It really aroused a young Brian.
I love that you know the specific moment. You still think about this, right?
I beat off to it all the
Constantly?
time. No, but like
armpit.
it's embedded in my brain. I think because it was like a piece of skin I had never seen.
It's funny. I have a goth girl similar thing because I have a very similar story. But my movie was Casper, and it was the young Christina Ricci.
Everyone had a crush on her from there, though.
Okay.
If you were that age.
You know, I was very young at the time. She was a kid, but she was older than me. But I was all about Miss Ricci in that movie.
I understand it. Yeah, Lydia Dietz, Winona Ryder has always done it for me. Mm-hmm. Did you see she just put out modeling shots recently?
No.
I actually sent.
Oh, is that what you sent to me?
I sent it in the group chat and I said she still looks hot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, she's still good.
Yeah.
She's not that old. I mean, what is she like? I don't even think she's 50 yet.
I don't know, but either way, she's gorgeous. I'm a big Winona fan.
Do either of you watch Stranger Things?
No. I watched the first 3 seasons. I did not watch the new season yet.
Do you remember a video game for PlayStation 1 called Chef's Love Shack?
Yes.
She in it?
No, but she is referenced in it in the theme song of the game. Chef is singing.
Would you like to sing it?
What's
You and me and her, simultaneous you and me and Winona Ryder, simultaneous loving, baby, 2 or 3.
That's amazing.
Do you know what's funny? She got her career derailed for something so innocuous now.
Robbed like a CVS, right?
She shoplifted a little bit, and it's like the shit that celebrities do now. I feel like it's like it wouldn't even
You mean
register.
like pedophilia? Sexual abuse?
Things like that.
I mean, there's definitely highs and lows of criminal activity with celebrities because on past shows we've talked about some heinous actions.
That
You
is
mean
true.
Mr. Brando?
Yeah. So like he didn't get in trouble for that,
No.
but she gets in trouble for like a little snatch and grab kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
that's I don't know the full story of that though. Do
She
you?
shoplifted because she needed to feel alive.
Oh, man.
Is that really? Are you making that up, or was that like her excuse?
Basically, she's rich. She didn't need to
I'm
shoplift.
sure she's just coked up and is like...
Do you think it was an accident?
No,
all alleged.
I think she needed to, get a juice. I thought she was convicted.
I know nothing about it. I was a kid when this happened. I didn't pay attention. You probably know better than me if you looked it up.
Yeah, as far as I didn't look it up, but as far as my recollection is, she was convicted. She did community service, and it derailed her career.
So she's just a bad girl.
Oh,
she's a bad bitch.
She's a naughty girl.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
She's attractive in this, and now I'm even
She is
more
just because
attracted.
she's so horny in it.
I'm so much more attracted to her now that I know that she's stealing. I don't know. I just
You know what the main thing she stole is?
Your heart?
My heart. Yeah.
Mary Ellen Muffet. She broke my heart.
I would hang for her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd hang for her in a second.
So, The Crucible. Should we talk about why this movie exists?
Yeah, I suppose so.
The background, I think, is very important to the story, right?
Well, it's a play.
Well, it's a play written by Arthur Miller, but why he wrote the play, right? We need to discuss that.
Well, it's a commentary on the McCarthy hearings from the 1950s.
Yes, because I believe Arthur Miller was convicted, or, were you convicted?
I believe a friend of his was accused of being a communist. I don't know if he ever was, but he was upset about it, that his friend was blacklisted and whatnot. Because
I mean, all commies deserve that.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
What's the problem here?
The whole premise of the play is, I don't think so much the movie. I think the movie kind of abandons those type of
I think the movie
overtones.
felt very much real of what happened. Like that's what it felt like they were going for.
Well, we'll get into that later. There's certain inaccuracies in the movie.
Of course, but it didn't seem like they were trying to make a political message. It was just like, this happened.
I definitely didn't get from the movie like that this is really what it's really about is the 1950s and the Red Scare. But that's certainly what the play was about. And I think a lot of kids read this in high school. I know we did.
Yeah, I had to watch it in high school.
Just to briefly about all that stuff.
So can I give some background on the communist stuff?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eli Kazan had to appear before the House Un-Americans Activity Committee, where 8 members were named, and basically he dropped the dime. Kazan, Miller and him were friends. Miller was pissed, and then Miller ended up writing The Crucible, basically because of this, comparing it to the witch hunt.
Right. But I'll say this just about that. It's not a witch hunt if there are witches. You know what I mean?
All right. I got to be honest here. I got to be honest to our listeners. I despise communists and communism with every fiber of my being. And it is a challenge for me not to go off in the way I would like to go off while doing this podcast. I will say this. Ronald Reagan, I read his autobiography not too long ago, and the House Un-Americans Activities Committee. He was a part of it.
He was the president of the Screen Actors Guild at the time.
He fought against the blacklisting of many actors, and he, stuck up for them. And he talks later in the book that he later went on to give all these speeches as union leaders do, right? And he said, I would always end all my speeches decrying how evil fascism is and how evil nationalism is. And one day, someone came up to him at the end of one of his speeches and said, that was a great speech. You got a lot of applause. When are you giving the speech again? And he's like, this time. He goes, how do you feel about communists? And Reagan's like, I don't like communists. He goes, why don't you mention them in your speech? Reagan's like, okay, I will. He goes, do it and then tell me what happens. So Reagan, according to his book, the next night goes and he gives a speech. He gives his standard speech. And at the end, he decries fascism, applause, nationalism, applause. He decries communism, pin drop, utter silence. And it was this that led him to resign from the guild and the actors union, basically because he's like, there are a shitload of communists here.
And it's not just that they're communists. These are people, and I'm not just talking about actors. Through the McCarthy hearings, I think something like 350 members of the government were found out to be card-carrying members of the Communist Party.
Yes.
And that party was taking orders directly from Stalin in Moscow at the time. They're being influenced by a foreign power. This was all revealed in something called the Venona Project files, which were released not until 1995, that we all finally found out about all of this. And this led to important things, like the atomic bomb
was stolen
by Soviet spies in the United States. And they're all affiliated with these people. So, I mean, we're taught when we're little kids in school that the McCarthy era was the worst thing ever. They're so bad because it's the one time that, like, communists kind of got put in their place in this country. They're witches. It's not a witch hunt. The bad stuff is happening. I'm sorry that they investigated it.
It's the fact of the matter is there were spies in the government. There's ex-KGB agents that defected after the fall that stated that KGB agents infiltrated various aspects of American life to influence things. It's not a conspiracy. These things happened. You know, we're not saying this to be political or talk about.
It's not conspiracy theory. It's conspiracy fact.
Yes.
Which then I guess doesn't mean conspiracy fact. It's just fact.
Right. Exactly.
It's just, you know, and I think all three of us, we all have our political beliefs that we don't like to discuss on the show or bring about. And this is something that...
It's just that this particular film and topic is commenting on that. So, we have to address
we
it.
have to. There's no way around it. And we're not trying to shove anything down your throats.
Right.
So I didn't know
You can
this.
call us assholes all you want.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I was unaware.
Oh, you
of,
didn't even know about this aspect of it?
So I did not go to high school.
Steve goes, I liked the witches.
I was like, I didn't know what the Crucible was when you picked this.
Oh, really?
Nope, never read anything about it. I knew about the history behind it, like
Right.
the
The
actual
Salem witch
trials, the Salem, everything. So going into this blind, I saw nothing resembling what you
Like I
two were
said,
mentioning.
I don't think the movie reckons it much at all.
Which I wonder. There's another movie from I think the 60s, like 61, I believe, like really old 60s movie. Which I
The
wonder
first Crucible
the
movie.
first movie. I wonder if they do more justice to what you two are talking.
So
about.
I would bet heavily that it does, simply because it is closer to when it happens.
Yeah.
You know, and like the message gets a little more diluted, you know? But let's dive into the movie.
I can't wait till Brian goes on an anti-communist tirade. I'm so excited.
I am going to fight.
I see you grabbing the chair already, like struggling with your inner demons, and I'm going to drag them out. That's my goal of
boy.
this episode.
Well, anyway, to the movies, for the sake of the movie, it begins in the forest.
Yes. A long, long time ago.
Right. And the girls of Salem town and village, because they are two different things, are dancing in the woods with Tituba,
Yep.
the slave. And they are doing kind of fortune-telling little, I
Voodoo
venture
stuff.
to say voodoo magic.
Love potion.
A love potion. They're trying to, find out who they're going to marry. And
Well,
future.
they take a plant and they put it in this pot, and you say the name of the person you want to fall in love with you.
Right. And by all accounts, this is actually what happened in real life,
And Winona Ryder slits the throat of a chicken and drinks the blood.
which is a little more brutal than
The
Went too
others were
far.
doing.
She
Right.
went too far.
And in this is the Puritan society. Oh, I should point out immediately, this movie advances the ages of almost all of the girls involved.
Yes.
The real Abigail Williams was 11.
11 years old. I was going to bring that up.
Right. And she's not having sex with John Proctor.
That's what you think. I'm just saying, maybe John Proctor did deserve to hang.
From what I heard, she was one of the younger girls,
Right.
who was like
This all
afflicted.
started-
She's the main girl.
Yes. This all started with Abigail Williams and her cousin Betty, who is the young girl who we see not long after this, who won't wake up and won't move and stuff.
But let's continue with the movie.
Yeah, sure. So Reverend Paris finds them.
The Oatmeal Man shows up.
That guy, I forget his name, the actor, is like a character actor from the 90s. He's in a million things, and he always plays a bit of an asshole. I remember in school, in my health class in like the 10th grade, we had to watch a Lifetime original movie called After Jimmy, which I never forgot. After Jimmy was about a football player who kills himself, and his family had to deal with what happens after Jimmy. And he was the dad, and he was a real dick, and it was up to mom to really hold the family together.
Lifetime movie titles are just they're so good. They're so good.
So Bruce Davison is the name of that
That's his
actor.
name,
And I know him as Senator Kelly in the first X-Men movie.
And he's
Now,
a dick in that too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always an asshole. That has to suck, just being typecast as an asshole.
He's like the poor man's George McFly. What's that guy's name?
Crispin Glover. Yeah. So they are witches. They're attempting to do witchcraft.
For all accounts,
I think you would, certainly from a Puritan perspective, they would definitely be not dancing in bad areas. You know?
there was markings on the ground around the pot, and they were dancing naked with blood on them, So if you're like a regular person, even one of us, if we walked in the woods and saw that, and I saw a bunch of little girls and then older girls naked dancing, I'd be like, yeah, you got to arrest the older girls. They're dancing naked in front of children. Like, well, what's going on here? Arrest them. I don't care what for. Just get them home and figure out what's going on. So it's not too surprising.
like-
It's actually pretty surprising they didn't get arrested earlier.
Wiccans exist in our world, and they're referred to as witches, whether it's real or fake or, what they're doing. They're trying to do witchcraft. They're fucking witches.
From what I understand, as far as what really happened, and everything about this story is vague, and we don't know
It's
a whole lot
400
about it.
years ago.
Right. From what I've heard, Tituba, who was a real person, she was Reverend Parris's slave, who was brought up from Barbados, was doing some local practices from down there with the girls called Venus class. And what that was they'd kind of take an egg and put it in a glass of water and then interpret the way the egg yolk moved around in the water, and that somehow told them something.
Okay.
It's a little different, and they have like a literal cauldron in this.
Yeah.
But I think it's less witchy and more
They're witchy
dancing
women.
around.
Pagan.
They're
pagan.
witch-a women.
Witch-hay woman.
Yes.
It is. He's out riding fences.
To these Puritans, that is a pagan ritual. Which
Oh,
it is,
definitely.
Which it is. When you think about purity, if you're dancing naked in the woods with other people, that's like the worst thing you could do.
Right.
Because think about before their society was built, who they landed on.
Oh, you mean the Indians?
Right. So there's probably a stigma
Right.
like, okay,
I
we
guess
got to nip this in the butt.
I guess we should talk about the society that's here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
How
You-
far are we removed from the Pilgrims
We
at
are
this point?
3 generations from the founding of the Plymouth colony.
Okay.
So it's actually, I've heard
What is that, like 30 years?
Plymouth is 1620. This is
They
1692.
only lived
I
till
know.
10.
I was making a joke.
It was a good joke. It was a good joke. Fuck him.
So this is obvious. Everyone knows the Pilgrims and the Puritans, and
They
but
came
a lot.
here. I love, by the way, they came here for religious freedom, but they actually just wanted to practice the most strict form of the religion they possibly could.
But that was always it, wasn't it? In England, they were mad at the English church for not being strict enough.
Yes.
They wanted to come here to be as brutal as
No,
humanly
but like
possible.
when you hear about it as a kid, right? It's like,
they're being oppressed.
they're being oppressed.
They want to oppress
yeah, they want religious.
themselves.
not
They don't want
harsh
to oppress other people, just themselves.
Yeah.
Not harsh enough for them.
They feel that the English church is far too liberal, and they want to adhere to a much stronger thing. But a lot has happened in the time since the founding. A lot of these people have become wealthy.
They have land.
Successful farmers. They have land. They've become successful tradesmen. They have constant contact now with the mother country, and they're trading with it. And Boston has blown up. More and more people have come from across the sea. And they actually recently just won a major, arguably one of the most important conflicts in American history, is King Philip's War, where they removed the local Indian threat completely.
So now they don't got to worry
They
about
don't
anything.
worry about that anymore. And it's altered the society in that these people are becoming more worldly and less godly. And some people will tell you that the Salem witch trials are actually a result not of the Puritans' strictness, but actually of them losing their devotion.
And go into pure capitalist greed.
Going into giving themselves over to greed.
Well, they do that in the movie.
Right.
It's a subplot that's just dangled and really not picked up.
Right. Well, because I think the object of the movie is, and certainly the play, maybe not the movie, but certainly the play is to compare the communist thing to the outrageousness of these puritanical beliefs.
Yes.
Which is so far removed. It's so far removed.
I can understand the parallel and what they're doing.
It's one way of reading a situation,
You
certainly.
you have a committee viewing people, determining if they are or not something.
Right.
At the bare level, it works. Anyway, back to the movie. Now Winona's cousin cannot wake up.
Yes.
Principal Rooney is there.
Yes, we have the reunition. The reunited Winona Ryder and, what's his name? Principal Rooney, who's also in Beetlejuice.
Yes, Jeffrey Jones. He
Jones.
plays our father in Beetlejuice.
Yes.
He is also a convicted child molester.
Yes, he is. He's worse than a shoplifter.
Yes. And he got to be in the new Deadwood movie. He's shit.
Yeah. Reverend Parris, I just want to talk about him for a minute. He's not originally from Salem.
The real one.
Yes, the real guy. He was brought up by the people. So there's two Salems. There's Salem Town and Salem Village. Salem Town is on the coast. It does a lot of mercantile trade with England. Salem Village is farmers. And the farmers tend to be poorer than the people in the town. So, and they're kind of, the people in charge of them are the Putnams. And Mr. Putnam is, Mr. Dietz.
Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones. And he is kind of the culprit who expands this beyond just the girls are accused of witchcraft. He starts to use it to his own advantage by accusing his neighbors.
Exactly, to get their land.
And this is what happened in real life. So the Putnams are behind Reverend Parris coming to the town and becoming its minister. And he was known as kind of a corrupt dude. He's way more into being wealthy than he is being a godly man. And they want to...
My type of guy.
They want to use him to assert a little more autonomy away from the people in the township. So they want to elevate the farmers in the village to get them away from being beholden to what goes on in the town. And this is like a play for power, essentially. At least some people think so.
In the movie, it's definitely presented that way. So he slaps the shit out of Winona Ryder for practicing witchcraft.
Yes.
And then we cut to...
Not unreasonably.
Yeah, then we cut to the hero of the movie, Daniel Day-Lewis.
John Proctor.
Farming.
Yes.
With his boys, which if you really think about it, if you're a farmer and you don't have boys, you're fucked.
No, you mean sons?
You need sons. Yeah.
That's
You
the
need
whole
them.
point,
You
to
need
have
them.
kids, right?
It's going to be tough. Well, he's got 2 sons.
That's why he's a successful farmer.
I mean, I think you could pull it off with some daughters, but it's going to be a little tougher.
So obviously Daniel Day-Lewis is one of our most famous Methodist actors.
A Methodist.
Yeah. No, we know he's a legendary method actor.
Right.
So I'll be telling you throughout this movie different tidbits and things he did to prepare for the role.
Does it color his teeth terrible colors?
Oh, maybe.
He didn't brush his teeth for 12 years leading up to this movie.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's one of the things he did. He went and farmed.
Played the long game.
Really?
Yeah.
Play the long game.
Yeah. He farmed for like just months and,
Are you
know.
joking, or did he actually go and farm?
Well,
I don't
wouldn't
think
put it
he.
past
I
him.
really don't think he farmed for months.
It's fucking Daniel Day-Lewis. He's a psychopath. Did you see There Will Be Blood?
For months, like actual cultivating fields of wheat.
He
to
ran.
get into
He ran
role.
illicit underground street gangs for Martin Scorsese. You know,
he built a log cabin when he was Abe Lincoln. That's true. Did you know that?
No.
When he played Lincoln, he built a log cabin so he could like feel
so he could be a rail splitter.
so he could feel closer to Abe. That's
Wow.
true. Yeah.
The time is now.
The time.
I still think that's not as crazy as cultivating wheat for months.
All right, so Brian lied
I
to me.
think
and I
Brian's
bought it.
lying. Yeah.
It's going to be a recurring bit. I'm going to say different
And
things he did to get into character.
We have to decide what he did or didn't do. I hope some of them are real.
So then we cut to the first, time we're seeing the church, and there's a beggar outside who is immediately rejected as the crowd is going into the church. This is very deliberate, this shot.
Is this the man or is this Sarah?
This
Good?
is the woman, Sarah,
Sarah
Good.
Good.
She's rejected from going into the church and pushed out, and the purpose of this shot is to show the hypocrisy of the people going into the church, rejecting the poor beggar woman.
Right.
That's why that shot's there.
So once Abigail, Winona Ryder, is confronted for the witchery going on in the woods, she immediately tries to pin all blame for it on outcasts, specifically Tituba. Tituba the slave, Sarah Good, the outcast beggar woman, and there's one other person, I believe it's Rebecca Nurse, but I could be incorrect in that name. Do you remember who it was?
I didn't write down names, but I could tell you John Hale of...
Sarah Osborne.
Yeah.
Sarah Osborne.
Shit, Sarah.
That wasn't bad.
That wasn't bad?
Wasn't a bad.
All right.
Outside the church is when I wrote down a note saying, this is amazing settings and costume work.
Oh, it's great.
This movie looks fantastic.
This movie's awesome. I really, really liked it. I haven't seen it in years and years, but there's a lot of good production value here. It looks perfect.
Do you appreciate it more now?
Oh, definitely. you know, if you're not watching it for school.
Yeah. I mean, I was so happy to watch it in school because, you know, anytime the movie was on, it was like, all right, I'm not doing anything.
I guess to beat off to Winona Ryder under his desk.
Looking at armpits.
There was no armpits in the movie.
Middle-aged ladies' armpits.
So John Hale of Beverly shows up.
He is, he's kind of a witch finder.
Yeah, he's a witch hunter.
Yeah.
He's like Geralt.
Geralt.
I never played the
Geralt
games.
of Rivia.
Yeah.
But not an unreasonable witch finder.
I think we should give some background to this. So throughout the 16th and 17th centuries, there were over 50,000 people put to death in Europe for witchcraft. No way around that.
Yeah, well, you know, the whole Monty Python thing, right?
Sure. I mean,
Can you float? You know.
oh, yeah. There were people whose jobs it was to find witches, specifically, most famously in England, was a guy who called himself the Witchfinder General, who was a man who went from town to town and always seemed to find witches wherever he went. James I, the King of Scotland and later Great Britain, he wrote a book about witches and like how to find them. And was real into witchery. Yeah, this was a major, major thing. And Reverend Hale is kind of like that coming to the new world.
He's the American version
He's
of
the
it.
American version of it. It was only a matter of time before that craze made its way across the sea. And it's funny, when this happened, it's kind of like the final incident where it never happens again. Where
Yeah,
people
this
are
is
just
like the
over it,
end.
you know? So Reverend Hale, he seems like a reasonable dude.
They mentioned there was a Boston hanging 2 years ago.
They also mentioned he let someone else off.
Yes.
He found them innocent.
Yes, he had found people innocent.
He's a good detective,
Yeah.
as well as you could be at this time.
And as soon as he gets to town, all different parties are going to him and like throwing accusations at other people.
Oh,
to
yeah.
him. It's like almost immediately the town is in a frenzy. Because we haven't really talked about it. The girls are like acting crazy.
Yeah, they're acting hysterical.
And
Well,
on
they
top-
know that they might die.
Yeah, well, they're terrified of that.
Yeah.
Specifically the two young girls. There's Betty and there's another one.
Abigail has an amazing line here
Say it.
to scare them. Says, "I can make you wish you never saw the sun come down."
Sick. And
Badass
I think
line.
she says, like real quick, she makes a comment about how she saw her parents killed by Indians, and
She said,
Yes,
she's seen
that is
horrors.
not-
that's not her. That's actually Mary, the John Proctor's servant.
Okay, I didn't know
real
that.
life, that happened to her.
So Abigail in real life, we have to remember something about her. She's 11 years old. She's an orphan.
Mm-hmm.
Both her parents are dead. She will never have any land or be married, probably, because she has no stature. You're not going to inherit any land for marrying her, so she'll never be able to find a man. So the only way she will be able to rise to prominence is something like this, where she's important and she could point out witches.
They're also children, and they're going to get a lot of. They're going to get something out of having as much attention as humanly possible.
Exactly.
They go to Tituba,
Well, she blames Tituba.
right, and she gets beat up a little. In real life, it was probably a much harsher beating.
She was beaten a lot and then sold.
Well, before she was sold, she named names. She gave into it, and she said A, B, and C. They came to me in the night and made me with the devil and made me sign his book, and these people are all involved. Once that happens, nothing can stop the frenzy.
Oh, it's overtaking. Yeah.
Because now
It's mob mentality.
you know, I always, from the time I was a kid hearing the story and what went on, I always wondered like how a group of neighbors that are so closely knit could turn on each other so quickly.
Come on, man.
I learned a lot in the last 2 years. You know, look, wherever you fall on the vaccine thing, it's certainly eye-opening on how people perceive their neighbors. You know, either way.
Yeah.
And it's really like this movie made me think about that. You know, how
Yeah.
people turn on each other.
I mean, communities are always just hanging on by a thread.
Right.
You know, it just takes a little bit to cause complete chaos and madness.
Yeah, and just because you live in like a modern time doesn't mean you're immune to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it could happen at any moment at any time. So Take what you will, even though it's to us it seems like a foreign, crazy thing to happen.
It did.
It's not far
anymore.
off.
Not anymore.
We're not.
Now I see it.
How many generations are we from that? 5, 4, like realistically.
It's 400 years ago, but
So we could safely
300 years ago.
So less than five people away. It's not like we evolved too much from there. You know, technology evolved and maybe our overall intellect, but our nature didn't.
The
evolve.
way we do our witch hunts changed.
Yeah.
On like, we just had a giant trial that it's celebrity shit, but we had a woman who lied to the press, slandered a man, and ruined his career.
Well,
and is
she
now
lost.
proven innocent. But the damage was done to this dude for 5 years.
We also jail people
You know?
indefinitely without trial and nobody bats an eye. How is that any different than execution? Just because you didn't kill somebody doesn't mean you just didn't take their life away.
I'm talking just.
I'm just saying in general, there's different.
There's a lot
Yeah.
to be learned
things,
from this
yeah.
event.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yes.
to be taken from it that can be applied to our modern times.
So we see Daniel Day-Lewis again, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" You know,
He's turned on.
he has a hat that makes him look like the Undertaker. And
He smiles when he
you
finds out
guys-
she's up to mischief.
You
If
guys may
you
not
catch
know
that.
this, but for this role, one of the things he did to prepare, he actually burned women at the stake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he said it helped him get in character.
It's dedication.
That's
Yeah.
method acting.
Yeah, Methodist acting.
Yeah, Methodist.
Don't talk to me about that.
Harrison.
Hi.
So Hale questions the girls. He wants names.
Yeah.
Then Tituba is named and whipped. They're all rats. Everyone starts naming everybody,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to save their skin.
Because we should say this. If you confess, you will not hang.
Yes.
But in a
So in real life, 50 people were convicted of being witches, and they did not hang.
19 hanged.
19 hanged, but there were 50 convicted of being witches that admitted to it and lived.
Right. Which is insane.
I mean, it's a pretty easy decision.
But there's something to be said about the martyrs. Obviously, I don't think they were witches. It's more important to them for their eternal souls than to save their own skins, you know, because it would damn them, certainly, to lie and say, I have communed with the devil.
Well,
you know?
isn't that one of the commandments, thou shalt not bear false witness?
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
You're directly breaking a commandment by doing
Damning
that.
yourself.
And these are people who,
Truly.
ardently believe
Well,
this.
that's their entire life. Their entire life is that belief. Like, it's easy for us to look at it and be like, oh, I would just lie. But those 50 people that lied, like you said, how strong that belief was, and it's clearly shown not only in this movie, but in history books, that had to take a lot, too, probably. I mean, maybe not so much to actually go be put to death for it.
Right.
But it's both are bad. Both are horrible.
So then Judge Thomas Danforth, a.k.a. Buckle Hat, shows up.
Hold on. We do have the scene where John Proctor talks to Abigail, like Beaver was bringing up before, where she tries to fuck him. And he throws.
He was into it at first.
He had fucked her in the past.
That
He was
didn't
like,
happen yet.
He was like, look at you.
It didn't happen yet?
No.
But she tells him.
No, it happened.
No, very shortly. Buckle Hat enters town.
Is that the judge?
That's the judge. He shows up. Then beggars are tried. Poor something is
Giles
dead.
Corey?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, no, poor Jacobs.
Oh, the old man.
Yeah. So the beggars are tried first after Buckle Hat enters town. They're the first people. Then is the Woods confrontation.
No, but I was talking about when John Proctor first goes to town, he talks to Abigail by themselves behind the building.
You're right.
And she flat out tells him, yeah, I made this all up.
And
Yeah.
he laughs.
He laughs. He's like,
"You mischievous little girl."
Right. He thought it was just going to blow over and it would be fine.
And I thought they were going to bone. I actually wrote, "Oh, look, they're going to romp." What's the colonial term for getting it in?
Well, she wants to.
She wanted to, and he denied her. He's like, "Not right now. We can't do this. I'm done with this."
Right.
So then the beggars are tried. Poor Jacobs.
Oh, you feel so bad for that guy.
That's the guy where I really felt bad for him.
Yeah.
He's accused of being a child molester.
He's accused of his spirit coming out of his body and like going to little girls' houses and fucking around.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And in reality, it's a land grab because we see it in scenes earlier.
Right.
That Jeffrey
Mr.
Jones.
Mr. Putnam
Yeah.
has.
And you just assume the judge and everyone else involved knows. They know.
I don't think so.
No.
they take this shit serious, you know?
As the trials go on, they start to
Yes.
show the judges are being sarcastic about it and know the answers they want.
By the end, it becomes more about power.
No, it becomes about saving face by the end.
By the end,
okay.
By the end, it's more important that they aren't being told that they fucked up, that they've killed people,
Yeah.
you know, and nothing's going on. There's no witchcraft here.
It
There's no
starts
devilry.
serious.
At this point in the story, they take this shit super serious. You know, it's like something's going on and we're going to get to the bottom of this. But they take it like way too far, and they get the wrong conclusions because the act is so insane. You know, you have these girls going in the courtroom with them. Yeah, people are on trial, and their accusers are sitting there with them, screaming and pretending to being assaulted by their ghosts while they're standing.
Yeah.
You know,
And nobody sees the ghosts, and it's like,
what are you
you're
doing to
sitting
this
there
woman?
believing between the ages of 10 and what, 15,
Right.
16, maybe 18 max, you're believing everything they say. Like, it's almost like, what, you're not a group of adults?
It's
And some of them
obvious-
are even saying like they're acting.
It's obvious to us, the viewer, that they're fucking around, because like one girl will yell something and then they all repeat it. You
Yeah.
know? But imagine, just take yourself out of it. Imagine you're in that society. You've grown up in that society, and you're in this. It's an intimidating thing to be in this courtroom, and there's devilry happening in front of you. Maybe they can get one over on you. You know, don't you think?
I mean,
Sure, but
it's possible if you believe this stuff, you know?
sure, but even the townsfolk didn't believe it.
Some of them, especially Rebecca Nurse, was the older woman who they all respected. You know, they said she was a midwife and she had brought something like 20 children
A
into the
matriarch,
world.
Yeah.
And stuff, yeah. And even Reverend Hale, when he got there, knew about her. And she's the one that first says, "I've seen this.
Yes, they're kidding.
They're kids. They're
Yeah.
fucking around.
This is bullshit.
yes."
And Hale just
And
goes,
what do
let's just make sure.
Right.
And he even sees, he's like, yeah, this isn't anything.
They immediately,
turn on her.
yeah.
Right. Whoever naysays is going to get eaten alive.
That's why I thought, you know what? I think the people in charge, this was land grabbing.
Yeah.
The guy who they killed had 600 acres. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you know how you're considered a citizen and how you vote, it's by land. You own land. So this is just a land grab. That's all it was.
And I think it's worth mentioning. I don't know how important it is really to what went down, but I think it's reasonable to point out that Massachusetts is not known for farming. It's shitty farmland. Like their main industry in the colonial period was
fishing, right?
Fishing, shipbuilding, stuff like that. They have great timber forests that they can make great stuff out of. The breadbaskets were in New York and Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and Jersey. But if you're a farmer and you're living in Massachusetts, good farmland is kind of hard to come by. You know?
Okay.
So it's reasonable that you want to expand your land if you can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or at least get land to put something more valuable than farming.
So then Daniel Day-Lewis and Winona Ryder meet in the woods, and they have a confrontation, and she grabs his cock and tries to fuck him in the woods.
Yes.
Being like, fuck me, like, let's end this.
And he's like, nah.
He's like, nah. Now, the interesting thing is they have had sex already in the movie.
And he feels horrible about it.
He's eaten alive with guilt, where I'm
Right.
like, dude, come on. Like,
Do it again. Hell, Lucifer. God damn, she's hot.
yeah. Now, the other thing is, in real life, Daniel Day-Lewis, he had sex with Winona Ryder to prepare for the role.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. They had sex to prepare for the role.
That makes sense.
And then when he found out the real Abigail Williams was 11 years old, he actually had sex with a real 11-year-old.
I'm sure he could find one. thanks to
Anything-
Mr. Epstein.
To get into the shoes of another person.
He's like, I have to really
He's got to
commit.
get in that mindset.
How else are you going to get into the mindset unless
Right.
you go
I
full
want to
in?
know John Proctor.
I want to be John Proctor. I am John Proctor.
This is my name.
That's the best part where he starts screaming that. Because it sounds like
Bill the Butcher
Bill the
game.
Butcher, yeah. It's like proto Bill the Butcher. You're like, oh, there he is.
What a powerful scene, but we'll get there.
So they're confronted. They talk about witch hunts. And I got to say, even in real life, I am sick of witch hunts. I am sick of innocent men going down in flames. Guys like Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby. We have seen too many good men dragged through the mud over things like this.
No more guilty until proven innocent. It's got to be innocent until proven guilty.
Funny you bring that up because a lot of our legal system, the American legal system, is born right here.
Yeah.
You know, this is it. It's innocent until proven guilty, straight out of the Salem witch trials.
It wasn't that like really before at all?
No.
Like at all?
No. Right to legal representation, straight out of the
this.
Salem witch trials. Right to cross-examine your accuser, right from this.
Do you think the martyrs were worth it then in that regard? Because one could argue that.
I mean, they didn't die in vain. Their death led to a far better, more just society.
Of course.
And
they're remembered. They are.
Oh yeah.
I actually have. I've been to Salem. Have either of you been to Salem?
I have not.
I have not.
I highly recommend.
I don't go
there.
where there's witches.
I visited their graves. I paid my respects. I
Did
did
you
some
spit
tours.
on the grave?
I actually partook in some witchcraft.
See, now doesn't that like you just said? Yes, I paid my
I did great
respects
stuff.
at the graves of the victims,
I did great
and then
stuff.
I danced in the woods like a pagan.
No, no. I didn't.
Then I
dance.
did the thing that they got murdered for.
Like, why did the goth kids take over that town? You know,
It wasn't goth kids.
all right, tell me about it.
I went during Halloween, which, as one does, that's like I went to the
he
museums,
stopped at Hot Topic first and got his eyeliner, his parachute pants,
It's like
spiked collar,
his Iron
chain.
Maiden shirt.
Yeah, everything. Derailed me. I went on this haunted witch tour.
with herself.
She likes to. I was listening to that the whole time, obviously. A little typo. I was on witch tours. I went to multiple museums. It was great. And then there's this like a package. So with that tour, you get like a traditional seance kind of, or I guess witch. I don't even know what to call it. Ritual, right? So you go into this like old house, and it's like a basement, and there's a little.
I assume it's some kind of historical house. Do you know what it was?
I couldn't tell you.
There were hoes in the house.
There are some hoes in this house.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you the name of the house. It probably was, but I didn't look into it too much.
Steve and I were in Disney World together because we're a couple of fruits.
Yeah.
And this was about a year ago. And we were walking around in the Magic Kingdom, again, because we're a couple of fruits. And we were just talking loudly so everyone could hear us about how that song, what is it?
Wet Ass Pussy.
Is the most important cultural achievement of the last decade. And we're just saying how great it is.
Mind you, I'm in a
brilliant.
wheelchair.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair. And I'm pushing him, and we're just loud, so everybody hears us like, it is masterful. There are hoes in this house, you know? A statement for the ages. And this woman comes over to us, and she just goes, are you serious?
Are you two being serious?
Yeah.
And we go, yeah. WAP is the best acronym to come out in the last 100 years.
And she just was like disgusted with us and walked away.
Do you think she was disgusted because you were saying it's good or because there's children around you? You're in Disney, you savages.
No, she was mad because
We were saying it was artistic.
good. Yeah,
it
we
was
were saying
the
it was an
epitome of
artistic
artistic
achievement.
achievement. Yeah. Mind you, we were drunk on blue milk and margaritas in Magic Kingdom. That's our own fault.
So Hale goes into the house and he talks to Goody Proctor.
Yes. Yes. By the way, Mrs. Pleasantville.
Oh, she's from Pleasantville?
She's from Pleasantville. She's Pleasant Bill.
Pleasant Bill. Hi, I'm Bill. He's always happy.
It's always nice to see Bill.
Yeah. Ask me how my day's going.
How's it going, Bill?
Great. I helped an old lady across the street earlier. It was great. I'm Pleasant Bill.
Tobey Maguire classic.
Did I tell you both my children died in a fiery car wreck earlier
No,
today?
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's
Bill.
okay. I'm never down. I'm Pleasant Bill.
Any misspoken thing on this show turns into a bit.
Oh, yeah. It's the only way we get anything.
Yeah, One misstep, and you will burn for an hour.
Anyway, yes, Elizabeth Proctor is accused by Abigail Williams because Abigail Williams is trying to get her out of the way so she could get at that Daniel Day-Lewis dick.
Yep.
Is this the scene where Martha speaks out?
No, this is when
That's later.
they go to the Proctor house.
Oh, okay, they're in the
They
house.
ask him to
Okay.
recite the Ten Commandments and things like that.
Okay.
That's a good scene.
Yeah, it's a
He
real
doesn't
good scene.
know
It's cool.
adultery.
Well, he can't say it because
He doesn't wanna
he's
say
an
it.
adulterer, and he's racked with guilt.
And that's when he notices. Oh, that he had a good line there too. It was like
A lot of good lines in this.
The commandments are a foundation, and if even one crack happens, it's a problem, or something like that.
Reverend Hale says that.
Reverend
Yeah.
Hale, yeah, I thought that was really cool because he knows it's like, oh, that they have a bad marriage.
And before the scene is over, a bunch of army guys show up with a cart, and they arrest Elizabeth without Reverend Hale even finishing his investigation.
Yep.
Because it's just gotten that out of hand.
Yeah.
So then there's a courtroom
Hale's
showdown.
pissed, right? At that point, he's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Like,
This
he's
is
like,
when he starts to realize,
this is BS.
oh.
Because he's
something-
talking to them. He's like,
Right.
these aren't witches.
Right.
They know the
just real
commandments.
Right.
There's a courtroom showdown. And then,
This is the best scene in the movie, right?
no. That's a little later. So then Judge Danafort, he says, if you're not with the court, then you are against it. Which, of course, reminds me of,
George Bush?
no, Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, right.
If you're not with me, then you are my enemy.
You turned against me! You have done that yourself!
Don't you see? You were supposed to destroy the witches, not join them.
I know! Episode 3 seems to come up a lot, too.
We love the prequels, apparently. We love to talk about them. By the way, the new Obi-Wan show, it fucking stinks.
Pile of shit.
It's
Are you
garbage.
surprised?
At this point, by the time this comes out, it's over. But the first 3 episodes I watched them, it's fucking horrible. It's unwatchable dreck.
It's just not surprising.
It's a low point.
It's not surprising. Do you know, even though this is in the past, Orville kills it. Just gotta say, for sci-fis, you gotta go Orville. Star Trek failed. Star Wars failed. There's one show out there.
Okay.
There's one person that could agree with me here. One person, not so much.
I watched the first episode of the Orville. They referenced the Kardashians and they used it to save the world, and I opted out of the show for good. I've been told it gets better. I can't get past that.
Clearly, you're not a WAP respecter. Then.
No.
It's all in the same word.
What do you guys think of the character Mr. Corey?
Giles?
Giles Corey.
Giles Corey is a great character.
Yes.
It's ridiculous that as soon as Reverend Hale shows up, he's like, my wife reads books and tries to get his wife in trouble. Can you check that out? But he turns around. He's a good guy, and he's obviously the closest ally to John Proctor.
Oh, yeah.
And they kind of work together to try and save each other's wives from the gallows. It doesn't work out well.
No.
But they have this scene where they put John goes to the court and presents evidence. And what has happened is his servant came home with a doll and gave it to Mrs. Proctor.
Well, she hasn't been stabbed yet.
No, she has. We missed it.
Okay. Well, we need to talk about that.
Yes. So Mary is John Proctor's servant. And she comes to the Proctor house and gives the wife a doll as a present.
Well,
that she made.
before that, she has come forward, right? Oh, no, not yet.
She gives him the doll, and it's discovered in the house because Abigail says that Mary was doing voodoo shit, giving it to Elizabeth. And when they go to the house, they find a pin in the doll, and Abigail had stabbed herself in the same place that the doll had been stabbed with the pin to kind of show that there's evil afoot. And this is very damning evidence for Elizabeth.
Well, it proves she's a witch.
Right, that she was doing it,
How else would Winona Ryder get stabbed? She's not going to do it herself.
obviously.
I've decided
she's
the
too
court.
pretty for that.
I've decided the courts are right. I'm on the side of.
We see her stab herself.
I don't recall. I don't recall this.
Didn't see it. Never happened.
It's fiction.
But we made it up.
We made it up. It never happened.
Now is this the scene where Martha says her bit?
Yeah,
Because Martha rules.
Proctor, no, she does not. Proctor forces her.
About the same Martha?
Martha's the servant girl.
No. I'm not talking about that one.
You talking about Elizabeth, the wife?
No, I'm talking about the lady that says, "What else are fools good for?" and walks out. The one that was hung.
That's Rebecca Nurse, I think.
Oh, did I get the wrong character name?
Oh no, I think you're right. I'm wrong. Mary is the servant girl. Mary Lewis.
Because I remember saying Martha rules, and that was the person I was
Mary
talking
Warren.
about. Because she was just like, "These people are faking. You're all insane," and walks out of the courtroom, and then they arrest her for it.
Yeah, yeah, she's done so,
So they ask her to faint.
and she can't do it.
She can't do it. She has stage fright.
Right. She comes forward and tells the court everything that's afoot with the doll.
It's all bullshit.
Right. We made it up. And then this is my favorite scene in the movie. I don't know about you guys, where John presents his evidence and talks about how Abigail had told him it was.
I have known her.
And he's forced to admit that he had sex with her to the court.
Do you think he's just bragging?
It's not bragging.
He's like
ruining his life.
He's like,
adulterating.
he's like, look at that hot piece of ass. I smashed it.
He would still be arrested for that. No.
Yes.
Yeah,
But he
he's
wouldn't
still
hang.
getting arrested.
It's not a hangable offense.
You're looked like it's like being a pedophile.
Yes, he's ostracized from the community.
It's like
piece
being a
of shit.
pedophile, right?
Yes.
Which she is 11, so.
I have known her.
How old is she? I assumed in this she was like 16.
Yeah, she's like a teenager.
She's
Like a
16.
teenager.
She's 17.
Right.
So in this,
In the
they say
play,
that?
she is specifically described as a 17-year-old.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he would be a pedophile then, kind of. Well, no, because that was legal then.
I mean, they're having kids at fucking 12.
Yeah.
So then they bring his wife out, and she knows what happened, and she has to admit that she threw, because Abigail used to be their servant. She has to throw her out for fucking with her husband. But if she does that, she'll ruin John's name.
And John's like, she has never lied.
Right. And he pumps her up. He's like, she's never lied in her life. She's going to tell the truth when you ask her. And she comes in and she lies on behalf of her husband. And it breaks your heart.
His head sinks.
Yes,
Because
because-
he's already admitted it.
Right. And you know that if she just told the truth, it would all be over.
That is the
all
best
of
scene.
it would be
That's
over.
the best scene in the movie.
best
It's
scene in
so
the
movie. Yeah.
It's
tense.
the best scene in the movie.
That is the most
And
tense
it's-
I've seen in a film in a long time.
And as soon as she says the lie, he like drops and he just turns and he goes, I've already told them. And
It's too late.
And she knows, my God, what have I done?
Like Hugh Jackman
Right.
in Les Mis.
I was thinking about this not long ago, and I wanted to bring it up on the show.
Okay.
To see if you could still do it. So there used to be in the UA theaters, the United Artists Theaters, a recurring Les Mis promo.
Ran for like a year.
Brian memorized the entire thing. And this, I'm talking 10 years ago.
How many times have we seen this?
I don't go to a lot of movies, and I've seen it like 15 times.
Yeah. I've looked for it online. You can't find it.
Brian goes to like every movie in the world.
Yes.
And he has forever. And he knows this thing like the back of his hand. Brian, can you still do it? Les Mis.
Oh my God. All right. Hold on. It's so hard because I'm ice cold. I haven't seen it in so long.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Hugh Jackman goes, "What have I done? Dear God, what have I done?" And it's him doing.
What is it?
Oh, what have I done?
Sweet Jesus.
Sweet Jesus, what have I done? Am I a thief on the night? Am I a thief on the run? It's something like
dog
that.
on the run.
Dog on the run, yeah. But I wish I could find the whole.
Or I could sing it like this.
Oh yes, that's what he would do. I could sing it like this because the whole thing with that Les Mis version was that the actors would sing not to the music and they would play the piano behind them. So he's like, so if I sing it like this, what have I done? Dear God, what have I done? Or I could, he's Shatner for some reason, as I'm doing
I can
it.
sing it like this.
And he's like, or I could sing it like this. What have I done? Sweet Jesus, what have I done? And he's like, and the piano will change behind me.
I'm a little upset you forgot it.
Dude, I will tell you, I've looked for it online and I can't find it. If anyone can find
And
it,
then it showed like Elizabeth, what's her name? Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway.
Something
This hell I'm living.
Did either of you see the movie?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
I saw it in theaters.
It's bad, right?
I didn't see
I
it.
made our friend Brancato go with me. I said we gotta the two bros. We gotta just go see Les Mis together.
Just got to bro out.
Bro move.
And we just the two bros just went and watched Les Mis.
Was that the last time you two spoke?
No, we've spoken since. But yeah, we watched Les Mis together, like two straight hetero men will do. Cried the entire time. No, I haven't. We could actually do that on the podcast. I was thinking of it.
Oh, yeah, I guess we could.
Does that fit?
Yeah, it's a real event.
Next June, we're doing only musicals for Pride.
Pride.
Back to the movie. Please, God.
Does that mean we'll be doing them in like December?
So the movie, the rest of it is kind of like, all right, so Elizabeth is pregnant. We find out she's not going to get hanged. John's having another kid. Good for him.
Well,
this is another
He
scene.
says, it's a whore's vengeance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about Abigail.
Yeah, he's like, this is a whore's vengeance. And then, the whole lion things. Then this is a great line. We're pulling heaven down and raising up a whore.
A harlot.
A harlot? Oh, okay.
Is it? Maybe a whore.
I don't know.
I was trying to reference,
He runs out into the lake.
Yeah, I was wondering. This is just a random lake?
It's like a pond.
Okay.
I was trying to reference something before this scene, that the judge, and this is to my case, says she's with child. You got a couple of months, almost a year, which is a long time. Kind of referencing like
We can this will end by
this
the
will
time.
end.
Yeah.
Just say what you got to say.
Right.
Let it end because he knows it's all bullshit.
By this point, I think most of the town has realized
all
in
BS.
the court that it's all BS.
Yeah.
But they've already hung people.
Well, there's a scene where all the townspeople are just looking and they're all pissed. You know?
And they support John Proctor.
Yeah.
They know he's a good man. The court's trying to find a way out of this
So they don't look bad.
so they don't look bad.
Because they're the ones who will hang if they find out that it's.
Well, not even that. It's just like
Well, the
they
people
need
kill
they need to be the authority, And if they keep this up, they're gonna lose that.
The way I saw it was the people were going to kill them
I don't think the people would ever kill them, but they'll certainly.
because there was the knife stab to the door of the parish.
Oh, Paris is hated at this point.
But now they want to kill him because everyone
Yeah.
knows what's going on.
Right.
It's like this is all a power grab. This is all like nonsense.
And it's like the Reverend Hale and the judge, they don't need to live with these people tomorrow. When it's over, they're going to go back to
leaving.
Boston. It'll be done with. The rest of, like, Paris has to look his neighbors in the eye forever.
And that's when this next scene takes place because the chaos starts happening.
Yeah. So Daniel Day-Lewis, he's getting he's in the lake and he's screaming, "God is dead!"
And that's that. Now he's a witch.
He's saying it, just to be
Out of a rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he can't save his wife.
exactly. And he's like, "You already think I'm a witch." Yeah, I'm a witch. God is dead.
Yeah. And then, well, that's it.
Then they show a shot of a candle getting snuffed out. We see a bunch of hangings.
Yep.
And Corey, poor Corey,
He's getting crushed to death.
he's getting crushed to
Because
death.
he won't name names of where he got his evidence from to save his wife.
The
Yep.
most badass last line ever said.
More weight.
That's a true story.
Yes, it is.
Oh, really? That's
Yes,
true?
that
Actually
crushed him to
happened.
death with stones.
And he the last thing he said was more weight.
Whoa.
Yep.
The balls.
He's a fucking awesome dude.
Hero.
Yeah.
Corey's an actual hero.
Because he wouldn't give up anyone.
Nope.
He wouldn't blaspheme his neighbors.
Well, now Winona Ryder is getting desperate,
Yes.
and she is trying to name anybody she can.
And she never wanted Proctor to go on the news, obviously.
No. She names Hale.
Yeah. And the
it-
judge is like, no.
He laughs at her.
Yeah.
It's like, no. And now she knows the jig is up. So she goes to John Proctor, and she's like, let's flee together.
She steals money from her father, from
Yeah.
her uncle.
Yeah. And she goes to John Proctor, and she's like, let's flee together.
Get on a ship and
Yeah,
go to the
and go.
Barbados.
And he says, we'll meet in hell.
Yeah.
He tells her to fuck off. She runs away. And,
gets away.
And she's gone. She
Yeah.
gets away. Hale tries desperately to save Daniel Day-Lewis and the
Blatantly
proctor.
says they're innocent to the judge.
Yes. He's trying to get John to just confess so that he won't hang. But he doesn't want to lie, obviously. But then he has a meet with his wife to get her to try and convince him to do it. And she kind of does. He has to search his soul. And she's like, all right, fine. I will confess. I want to live. I want to live!
She says, it was a cold house I kept
Yeah, she apologizes
for not fucking enough.
They're not fucking enough. Yeah.
Ladies, that's a lesson.
I was expecting a quick conversation. Just, John, why didn't you just rub one out instead of,
That's a sin.
you know? Adultery is a worse sin.
It's all the same to these people.
Every sperm is sacred.
Yes.
Every sperm
This
is
is
good.
true. This is true. All
If a sperm is wasted.
Would have saved a lot of trouble.
So then we get the big finale, right?
Yeah.
John is going to sign his name.
He does sign it.
Confess, but just to be a fucking prick on wheels, this judge wants to make him name someone else. Like he's going to say, yes, I signed the devil's book. I am in league with the devil. And the judge wants to say, who else is?
Yes.
And
And it could keep going.
He's watching the people who won't admit it.
And they're looking at
And they're
him.
looking at him like, oh man. They're like, how can you stand in front of these people who are about to be martyred for the truth and reason? And then he's supposed to stand there and say, yeah, they are witches.
Maybe I was confused about this. That's not. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he said you have to sign this, but I have to put it on the door of the parish.
That too.
It's
He
a
didn't-
part of
he
it.
didn't- He asked,
But
are
even
they with
more
you?
than
He said
that,
no.
but
Are they
even
with
more,
you? No.
Right. But even more than that, they want him to
They want him to say no.
To say that the people that have not confessed are witches.
not.
He wants them to double down that they are witches. The ones that have not confessed. Yeah.
The ones that the ones that are arrested. He goes, did you see them with the devil?
And he says no.
He says no.
But they want him to say yes.
No, they want him to say no. Because then they point to the next one and say, did you see him with the devil? He goes, no. And the judge kind of slightly nods and goes, okay, sign it. The judge knows it's either they all die or he confesses. That's it. It's
Well, they're gonna
you
die.
can't have both. No, they
Yeah,
weren't.
no, those two women were going to die no
They're gonna
matter
die.
what.
No. They
Yes.
would have. I
Yes.
thought they would have went free if
No.
he did that.
No.
No. Then they probably would have been like, yeah, sign it.
Yeah.
They knew they were going to die, and they were disgusted
That
that
he was
selling out.
selling out.
Oh, okay. I read that wrong.
Yeah. And then, he has his great line. It is my name.
I shall not have another.
Amazing.
It's such a great line. It's
awesome.
It's such great acting.
Yeah.
This is another thing he did. I mentioned it before. He didn't brush his teeth for 12 years to get ready for the role.
Right. Yes.
You got to respect the authenticity, though.
Anyone who's willing to endure tooth decay for the sake of realism. What a great actor.
Bullshit. Bullshit bit aside, like I love when they do details like that. Like no one had sparkly white teeth.
Right. Yeah.
These are dark, dirty, disgusting
what-
times.
yeah, goes back to
Half
what
of
I
them
said.
have scurvy.
I said, I wrote a note here. I stopped taking notes. This is too good.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, I gotta watch this now. I was invested. And to your point, it was like the costume, the setting, the detail was
is a
really great.
He gets hanged.
He gets hanged while reciting the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, which actually happened with one particular, not John Proctor,
Okay.
but another guy who was a former pastor in the town. Actually got
Convicted.
accused and convicted, and he got up there and he recited the prayer. And they said, like, someone in league with the devil could never do that, and they hung him anyway, even though he was doing it.
Just to be on the safe side.
People suck.
Yep.
Mob mentality is horrible. And that was
And that's the end of the movie. John's dead.
There's 19 executions.
19 executions in total, and one man being crushed to death, Giles Corey.
why was he crushed to death?
Because he was not accused of being a witch. That was them kind of like torturing him to get him to talk. He was
right, because he lied to the courts.
No, he had evidence that his wife was innocent, and they asked him, how did you come by that? And he didn't want to name names on who told him. He didn't, because that would convict someone else.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And they were just like, he's just like, fine, fuck you. I'm gonna get crushed to death.
I thought I figured like they would have just hung him.
Well, he wasn't aware. It was like an interrogation that they just kept putting more
He
stones
was
on.
just like, no.
Yeah, took 3 days for him to die.
What a fucking badass.
Yeah.
What
So-
a badass.
So a couple of things about the real people, right? The real Tituba later recanted her confession and said it was forced out of her by being beat,
Yeah.
which makes sense. Abigail Williams was 11 years old. She never slept with John Proctor.
No, she kind of just disappeared.
She's
from the
disappeared. There's no
historical
record of her
Yeah.
as to what happens after this, which is so interesting because she caused such a thing and
Yeah.
she's gone.
The leaders probably killed her. Erased the evidence.
Mary Warren, if I'm not mistaken, kind of just went on with life, got married, lived in the town forever. You know,
Wow.
and a lot of that's pretty much what happened to most of them. Life goes on. You know, they just got past this and had to live with that.
Life finds a way.
What a crazy summer that was.
Yeah, it was one crazy summer. There was a part where Winona Ryder was chasing through Bobcat Goldthwait in a Godzilla costume, and they were smashing up a little town.
They had a regatta.
Yeah,
It was a big boat race.
boat race.
John Cusack was playing basketball. This is really a turning point in American history and a pivotal moment.
Albeit a disturbing one.
Yes, but an important one. The legacy of this, obviously, as we talked about before, echoes in our justice system. I think it was kind of like the bubble bursting on the Puritan domination of the Massachusetts colony, and it becoming more susceptible to integrating into the rest of the 13, because it was very much a religious, zone.
It was a stronghold.
If you weren't in the church, you could not operate and live in Massachusetts. In fact, that's how Rhode Island got founded, as we talked about. Well, as we will talk about in the future.
The future.
Future's now. Yeah, and I highly recommend going to Salem. I'm surprised.
It's cool.
I'm surprised you haven't been there, Anthony.
I just haven't. I've been to Boston one
That's
time.
why.
It was in a bachelor party, and you don't just say to all the guys that want to drink at bars, "Hey, you guys want to go look at the goth
you would
people
go
and
to
the witches?"
you go to
Sturbridge.
Sturbridge a lot.
It's hours from
Civilization.
from Boston and Salem. Salem is like right next to Boston.
Yeah, that's. I went to
Oh,
Boston
really?
and I went to Salem on my trip to Boston.
Right.
and I loved it. It was really fantastic.
I spent a lot of time in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, growing up, and it's not close. It's like an
Okay.
hour or 2 hours away.
I figured you should go, both of you, because the museums there really are.
Oh, it's something I'd like to do at some point. I want to go to Sleepy Hollow too.
Sleepy Hollow, that's in New York.
Isn't that like
New
Long
York.
Island?
New York, it's,
Dude, don't go there.
Why?
The Headless Horseman. He's
Yeah,
going to throw
it's dangerous.
fucking... He's going to cut your head off.
But I may run into my girlfriend Christina Ricci.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
He's playing a different game.
Are you saying
He's
if
4D
I
chess.
go to Salem, I may run into Winona Ryder?
Yeah.
No,
I did.
I'm saying if you go into Chicago, you may run into middle-aged Catherine O'Hara.
Oh. Second City TV. All right.
I was thinking Home Alone, but yeah.
Oh.
that armpit.
Do you think she would have sold herself to get home to Kevin?
I thought about this a lot. The whole scene with John Candy in Home Alone. Is
Yeah.
he trying to fuck her?
100%.
And she said,
She's a smoke show.
she looks good. She looks good.
Dude, have you seen her armpit?
When
It's one of the most erotic
when
armpits
she's
you'll
at
ever
the
see.
airport and she's yelling at the ticket taker woman, if I have to sell my soul to the devil, I will get home to Chicago. What does she say?
If I have to sell my soul to the devil himself,
Yeah.
I will get home to my son.
Yes, and then you got polka
Yeah.
going on behind her. He would have fucked her, right?
Of course he would have.
Him
Look
and
at
all-
John
him
Candy
and all the polka men.
and look at her. Oh, that was a straight gangbang. It was a polka gangbang.
Do you think they did, and we just don't see it?
Yes. They were playing like Weird Al stuff, which is like the least erotic music to fuck to is polka.
And it's great because she only gets there ahead of the rest of the family by like 2 minutes.
Yeah, she didn't need to do any of that.
Right.
Instead, she had every hole filled.
By polka men.
Yeah. The lowest of all men. We're gonna get some email. Hey, I'm a Pokemon and I'm from Philly. Fuck you guys. Eagles rule. Go Birds.
When we do a big fan.
Based on a true story. Now we just do anything in real life. What do you think of the movie The Witch? Because
I love
I kept thinking of it as we were watching this.
It's a very similar topic.
Did you see The Witch, Steve?
I did not see The Witch.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Black Phillip is here.
Yeah.
Evil
There's
ghost.
a talking goat named Black Phillip.
Yeah.
And he says that.
See, when you say things like that, it makes me not want to watch
it's
it.
literally
It's so
legit,
ridiculous.
in my opinion, probably in the top 5 movies of the last decade.
It's
You
incredible.
both told me this.
It's
and I'm
from
gonna watch it.
It's
at some
from The
point.
Northman and the Witch director. It's Robert Eggers.
are-
He rules.
Yeah, the Northman
Lighthouse.
was awesome.
Lighthouse. What'd I say?
You said The Northman and The Witch.
Oh yeah.
Lighthouse is like one of the best movies. Northman's amazing.
That movie,
The Witch.
is, it's the same type of people, but it's like, it's earlier on.
Yeah.
It's not when civilization has come.
They use real accounts of like shit that happened.
And
Oh, that's cool.
I think that movie is great because it plays with kind of the horror that is the American wilderness at that time. It's not just the witchery. It's like, what is beyond the woods? Once you get past that tree line, it is a continent that is completely untamed and ready to eat you alive.
And that's something we didn't talk about with this movie either. These people are constantly under threat. There's in real life in Salem, there has been tons of death from a disease recently. There's Native American attacks.
Which that's kind of over at this point.
But
It very recently.
that's what I mean. Like
And one of the people there is correct. Both their parents were murdered by Indians.
Yeah,
one of the girls accused.
not
One of the girls
Abigail.
doing the accusing. Yes,
But like,
Mercy.
these people are living in such a stressful fucking environment that you're telling them all this bad shit is the cause of a supernatural force.
It's believable.
It's believable.
yeah.
And on top of that, like we mentioned before, like the Indian stuff wasn't happening too long ago. So dancing naked around a fire, whether it's Satan or just influence of outside, to survive in a culture like that, it has to be strict. So like,
Well, it's
get rid of it
teenage
now.
girls
Just get
trying
rid of
to
it
have
now.
A little fun.
Girls just want to have fun, like the song.
Cindy knew what she was talking
Yeah,
about.
if they only
It was
knew
actually about
Cindy.
the Crucible.
It was.
Cindy Lauper's song is actually about Puritan America.
It's not just that song. Every Cyndi Lauper song is about the Crucible. Time After Time is about how they were found guilty.
You know,
Time after time.
They say when you play the discography from Cindy
Backwards.
but match it up with the Crucible, it matches it.
Oh, like Dark Side of the
Like
Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon
and the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
True Colors. We're knowing that Abigail's full of shit.
Right.
All Through the Night. I mean, I think we know.
You're digging deep now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The spirits came into their bedrooms at night, all through the night.
It's true, all of it. Just look up Cyndi Lauper's discography. It's all about the Crucible. So, guys,
Rating?
I don't know what you're doing tonight, but I got a fire going in my backyard, and I'd like to dance around and do some spells with you. What do you think?
Only if we're naked.
Obviously.
I've done a spell already, so I'll help you.
All right. So it's
Put a spell on.
I had to tie a knot with 3 knots and do like a chant and stuff. It was weird.
What?
That is weird.
What are you talking about?
I told you I did a thing in Massachusetts, in Salem.
Oh.
That was what I did. There was like
So
a,
disrespectful.
it was nice. There was a
This is the grave of Goody Proctor.
So-
He was like, look at me dance this jig. He's dancing
it was
on
my
it.
house. Remember how like you were like, oh, the Hot Topic people? I was fully expecting a Hot Topic person to walk out, and a 14 out of 10 walked out of that room.
Ooh, a hot chick?
The hottest witch I've ever seen.
Hotter than Catherine O'Hara's armpit?
Oh yeah, hotter than Winona
Impossible.
Ryder.
Wow.
Like, and she's like dancing and handing things out and chanting, and I was like, this is weird, but I'll do this. I got the full experience. Try it out.
All right. So
What's your rating?
I give this 7 out of 10 or a 3.5.
I feel like that's kind of low.
It's a very good movie. Totally fine. Not really, my particular cup of tea. There's not enough mayhem.
You wanted more mayhem.
I like,
You wanted a battle scene?
I like battles, yeah. Maybe if like they fought a witch.
If it's not Top Gun, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm spoiled.
If the devil actually appeared in the movie and just beat the shit out of Reverend Hale, Brian would be like, yeah, this is great.
This is my cup of tea.
Brian thinks The Sixth Day is actually the best movie ever made.
You want to hear a story about The Sixth Day?
Yes.
So we saw it. It was actually a
Am I thinking of the right movie where Arnold fights the devil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was watching that on the hot box at the time because, we had stolen cable. So I've seen that movie like 30 times or more. It's one of those movies that I would just watch constantly because it was on. And one of our friends, when we were children, I watched it with him. And I told him the devil was real and he was coming for him.
Oh, I think I know which one.
Yeah, and he was scared, and he went to his mother, and he told his mother that I told him this, and she's like, Brian, why are you telling my son this?
I guess they were Italian.
Italian.
And she's like, why are you telling my son this? You know he believe you. And I had to go and like talk to him and be like, it's a movie, I'm joking around.
How old were you?
12 or 13.
Oh, okay. So he was probably,
He's a year or two younger.
11, 10, 11.
This movie was a bomb, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made
didn't make its money back.
$7.6 million in the box office.
I think critics liked it, but just people didn't go out and see it.
But I don't think it cost much to make. It's just...
I mean, the sets are intricate, the costumes and shit.
Oh, wow. It was a bomb.
Yeah.
It made the budget was $25 million, and it made $7.3 million.
That's bad.
Wow.
For 96, right? That's pretty bad.
People still liked real movies back then too.
And I think people know this movie, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone watches it in school. You know,
Who knows what was coming out around that time?
96.
96 was...
it was nominated for 2 Oscars:
Yeah, it's a bomb and it's getting nominated because people
best adapted screenplay and best supporting actress.
What was
Winona?
No,
was it,
for Joan Allen
What was it up against?
in
That's the
'96.
question. That's the real question. What was it up against? Because what
Braveheart.
bomb?
Braveheart.
What what
I'm
earth-shattering
sure Braveheart
film
just
came
crushed
out?
everything.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah,
better.
Steve, what'd you think?
I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5.
I think this was a very well done movie. I think the acting was superb. I think the story was a little far off from the truth, but not too far off where you can't get a grasp on what was happening around that time and why. I think it was portrayed very well.
8.
8?
Give me an 8.
Solid.
So yeah, this was Braveheart. The '96 Oscars
good call.
was just Braveheart, like killing everything.
That's why.
But I can't believe that Daniel Day-Lewis couldn't even get a nomination.
Dude, it's Mel. Mel reigns supreme
This
with
was-
his
Mel wasn't
This was the
nominated.
height of Mel.
Mel wasn't nominated for Best Actor.
history.
He wasn't?
Nope. He was nominated for Best Director and he won, and obviously Braveheart won Best Picture.
That's all that
But
matters.
the Best Actor, you had Nick Cage, Richard Dreyfuss, Anthony Hopkins, Sean Penn, and Massimo Torozzi.
You wonder why this movie
What a
didn't make
banger.
money
Yeah. Oh, I think Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture, didn't it?
In what?
that
In
year.
95, right?
No, 96 is
Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Oh, okay.
I just said that.
Was Anthony Hopkins nominated for Silence of the Lambs?
No, he was nominated
Oh, it wasn't
for
that year.
Nixon.
Oh, I don't even remember that movie.
He plays Richard Nixon. I've never heard of
Never
it.
heard of it.
Oh, I guess we got to watch something.
We'll be
huh?
watching it.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Another one in the books?
Yep. Good job.
one.
Fun. All right. So let's get out of here. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Want to thank you guys for listening. Want to give a big thank you again to Tell 'em Steve Dave, to Walt, Get 'em, all the guys letting us record down in beautiful Tell 'em Steve Dave Town Studios, TESD Town Studios. Come on down, visit them in Hazlet, New Jersey, buy some merch, all that good stuff. Follow me on social media at Brian Rupert on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Follow me personally on my Letterboxd. We all rank all the movies we watch for the show. I review every single movie I watch. Email us, reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Camera.
Set and action!
It's going to be different for sure. This is the first time anyone's ever tried it like this.
Every single person is singing every take live.
This has not been done with this kind of consistency in a musical before. The idea of singing live is daunting, but what it gives you is this freedom.
We have found an amazing group of actors who are completely at home acting through music. And the only way you can make that work is by capturing it in the moment.
Normally, if you were making an old school movie musical, as a group of actors, we'd go into a studio, we'd record an album, and then 2 months later, we'd arrive on set and they would play the playback and we would mime alongside it. The problem with that is that you have to make all your acting choices 3 months before you've even met the actor you're working with. By recording it live, Tom is allowing us the spontaneity of normal film acting.
You can tell in your bones there's something false or unreal about people singing to playback. What will be exciting for the audience is that singing live has such a profound effect on the power and the realism of this story.
Camera.
I do the soliloquy and it starts with, "What have I done, sweet Jesus, what have I done? Become a thief in the night, become a dog on the run. Have I fallen so far and is the hour so late that nothing remains but the cry of my hate?" Okay, so that's, if you were singing it literally, it'd be like that. I can go out there and some takes I'd be like, "What have I done? Sweet Jesus, what have I done? Become a thief in the night, become a dog on the run. Have I fallen so far and is the hour so late that nothing remains but the cry of my hate?" I can take a little break, I can move on, I can speed it up, I can slow it down, which means I just have to worry about acting it. I missed it 20 long years ago.
The actors have hidden earpieces, and we have a pianist who is playing live into the actors' earpieces, and the actors are setting the tempo rather than a pre-recorded music track.
There's a way for us. I love him, but when the night is over,
Ultimately, the piano will be replaced by a 70-piece orchestra.
I love him, but every day I'm learning.
Everything has to be completely natural. So a lot of us are stripping it right back so that you can just live it a lot more.
There are so many questions and answers that somehow seem wrong.
It's so much more powerful. You have complete freedom, complete control. When you're doing a love scene as an actor, you just wish there was music to kind of help you get there. But now you hear the piano in your ears. Now you are the music. And it almost can make you cry.
This is a chain we'll never break.
What comes with this way of working is you get the fragility of a voice which matches with the emotions of what a character's saying.
And hope was high, and life worth living.
When I saw the trailer and Anne singing with this extraordinary fragility, that song, which I thought I knew pretty well, suddenly I listened to the lyrics for the first time afresh.
There seemed to be something selfish about trying to go for the pretty version. She's devastated. She's literally at the bottom of a hole looking up and realizing she's never going to climb out of this. So I just decided to apply the truth to the melody and then see what would happen.
For something like Les Miserables, it has to feel real, it has to feel immediate.
Singing live, there's an emotional level to this that just cannot be created in the studio.
I thought there was an amazing opportunity to do something genuinely groundbreaking.